Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Tuesday, November 11th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown, so if you're someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. First off, a couple clarifications. Number one, the candlestick that you see right there will be moving around and changing. That's because the market's still open for a small amount of time. But I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. Second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 30 minutes worth of time. So ticker symbol number one, we were looking at OPEN. Very, very impressive day, especially when you factor in that just on Friday, there was this gap down and the price was right there. And now all of a sudden the price is all the way back up there. So very, very impressive movement. I will go ahead and get rid of that level, which is from Friday's video, not really relevant right now. But as of now, there's a couple of key areas. And the first one is what I would call the ideal level of support, meaning for Ask Clay. What would make this chart look the absolute strongest moving forward? And that would be if the price can continue to stay up above that pink line there, which on my chart denotes the 200 period moving average right now valued at 741. You can see a couple of instances both there and there. Price did a fantastic job of holding up above it. Now, let me be clear, though. If the price comes down to 741 and falls below it, that doesn't mean the entire chart's now destroyed or ruined or anything like that. But if the price can stay above there, that would certainly be a great sign of power. The secondary area of support that I would consider a lot more important now would be that purple line there, the 50-period moving average, currently valued at $7.03. So again, preferably speaking, stay above that pink line, but if that doesn't quite hold, you still do have the purple line not that far below. As far as next potential battlegrounds, next key area of resistance, at least in my opinion, let's make this real quick. There we go. Right up here around these previous highs at $8.25. If you go through the history of things, you can see this general area right there presented quite a few problems. So that's not saying that $8.25 cannot be broken, but the price, I would say, probably really does need to bring its A game if it's going to be able to push up through there. But all in all, definitely a good way to start off the week. Next one, looking at ticker symbol BNAI, and this is definitely an ugly looking chart, no doubt about it, when you factor in that the price gapped up here and then made a move all the way up here, and then after that has really gotten nasty and then has dropped all the way back down to there. But this is also where things get interesting, and this is where those of you that have watched past videos have heard me say there can be opportunity in the ugly. So yes, this is very ugly, but we also now have a situation where the price, even with the big pullback, is actually still up above these two moving averages, which I just talked about. Pink line being that 200 period moving average, purple line being the 50 period moving average. And they're both basically the same level. There's a little bit of a distance between them, but same general idea. Now, let me be very clear, and I wish I could say trading was this easy. Just because these are key levels and very well-known levels does not mean that for sure guaranteed the price is going to go down there and bounce off those areas. But is that at least a valid question to throw out there as a possibility? In my opinion, absolutely. So if you like to play these situations where you're getting very deep pullbacks that are creating ugly looking charts, but you still have those potential areas where there's maybe some sort of bounce, then certainly keep an eye on it. Of course, you have to be no matter what you're doing, you have to be just disciplined. But in these situations, you have to be that much more disciplined. So like I said, if you like these circumstances, you like penny stocks, then keep an eye on it. Next one here, looking at Soxs, and this had been doing very well, higher highs, higher lows. But now today, big move down. Does that destroy everything? It doesn't, but it's starting to put the price at some very important levels. And the very important level in my mind right here around $3.33. I'm not saying this is what's going to occur, but just for explanation's sake, if the price were to come down to that area and then break down below it, at that point you essentially have the price having gone back to where it started. And not to insult your intelligence, but price movements with true, genuine power don't make great moves and then all of a sudden go back to where they started. Again, I'm not saying that's what will occur, but that is why in my mind that 332-ish area, very important. On the flip side of things, if the price does maintain that area and then starts to bounce back upwards, key area of resistance now becomes those lines, which I've talked about in every single chart so far, 200 period simple moving average and 50 period simple moving average, current value of those right around that 357 mark. But like I said, one step at a time, one key dynamic. And the first key dynamic, at least in my opinion, is you don't want to see the price going back to where it was. So bare minimum, you want to see the price at least stay above 332. Next one, ticker symbol Ifrx, and very nice consolidation on this one. Started off strong. Whoops, let's try that again. There we go. Started off strong, came back, and has now worked its way back upwards. So nice little consolidation and a very well-defined upwards breakout point, which you got to think everybody and their brother's uncle is watching right here around $1.70. That guarantees nothing, but in my opinion at least, even if you just want to call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, it does make it valid to think that if the price comes up there and breaks through there, that break could create additional buying pressure. So again, guarantee, absolutely not. But is that a valid scenario? Absolutely. So in my mind, $1.70, got to think everybody's watching that area and seeing if the price can push up through there. Next one, ASST, and this is a little tricky to talk about because it's all about perspective. I mean, if you're some sort of day trader, flipper, scalper, and you bought right there and your plan was to buy and sell within, 13 minutes, well then yes, from that standpoint, the chart's looking very, very rough because the price did pull back quite a bit from that area. Now, if you care about things from the bigger picture point of view, then overall the chart's doing just fine and it's actually behaving just like you would want to see it. And that has to do with relative to that purple line there, the 50-period moving average. And as I speak right now, you can see the price is doing a good job of maintaining and bouncing right here at that level, which now brings about a very valid and interesting question, and that is this. Is there about to be a bigger bounce in the upwards direction? Again, no guarantees, but based on this action that we're seeing right now, that becomes a very valid scenario headed into Tuesday. So if you like these scenarios where you do have overall uptrends, and that's very clearly still the case here, even with the pullback, big picture, there is still an overall uptrend, but you have that pullback within the uptrend, and now you're getting some action that suggests that maybe, just maybe, this thing is going to get ready to try to bounce back upwards, then certainly keep an eye on it. Real quick, want to take a break and help you solve a very common problem, not necessarily for you, but it is very common, and that is the pattern day trader rule and people wanting to become day traders, and day traders being defined as having unlimited day trades every single day, not 3-day trades every 5 days. No, as many trades as you want every single day, but you can't because of that pattern day trading rule. Well, there is a market out there and there's a strategy out there that allows you to risk very little of your own capital, and it gives you access to a market that moves way better than the stock market anyways, and there's no pattern day trading rule. I totally understand if all this sounds too good to be true. What's the catch? Which is why I invite you, come check it out with your very own eyes on the live stream. Start every day at 11 a.m. Eastern, and then I go for a few hours. So if this sounds interesting to you, but you're skeptical, again, totally understand. Come swing by the live stream and ask me questions. Next one here, Nvda. Very, very nice continuation with what happened on Friday. There was that gap down. There was a nice movement, and then today, gapped up, small pullback, and then just a crazy afternoon. When you stop and think about it, not a single red candle, just one green candle after another. So definitely some updates need to be done. And the first ideal level, and ideal representing the level where we say, Clay, what would make this chart look the best moving forward? Definitely if the price can now stay above 193.75. Now, if the price falls below it, that doesn't mean the entire chart's destroyed, but if the price were to come down there and fall below it, the further down below it falls, then closer and closer it becomes to potentially going right back to where the move started. And as already discussed in some of these other charts, that's the exact opposite of what you would want to see if a movement is truly strong. You don't want to see prices going back to where they were. But as of now, that is very, very far away from happening, so we don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves. And then as far as areas of resistance are concerned now, key level to watch, in my opinion, going to be this resistance trend line right there, and that is right where the price got rejected from. So notice, by connecting that point with that point, it did a fantastic job, and actually a pretty crazy job of forecasting where that area of resistance was at. Now, that doesn't mean that the trend line can never be broken, but it does make sense why the price is currently struggling right around that area. So we'll see how the week continues to play out, but definitely a good start to the week here for the bulls. Next one, IMTE, and we have ourselves a good quality pattern here, so let's get this pattern mapped out. So let's get the resistance part of the pattern right there. And then for the bottom pattern part, I'm not going to even use a trend line. Let's just use that pink line there, that 200-period moving average. And then let's keep it all the same color to make the pattern easier to see. So we have our area of resistance. We have our quote-unquote trend line right there. We have the big upwards move right there. And then for you golfers, put out the golf hole down here. And this would be a bull pennant pattern. Now, just because something's bullish does not mean for sure guaranteed that if the price does something like this and comes up and breaks through it, that the price is going to get a big breakout. But it goes back to that idea of, is it valid? Is that a reasonable thought to have in terms of the possibilities of occurring? And yes, absolutely, in my mind, bull pennant patterns, when they're broken, it does create a valid scenario where you could get some upwards buying pressure. So if you like bull pennants, if you like this price range down below $2, definitely keep an eye on it. Next one here, PLTR. And right now, at least I think, pretty sure it is, unless I'm blind, but this level right here, yeah, there we go. Sitting at a very, very key level, right around 194. Going back through the history, you can see that is as high as it's got after that bounce back upwards here. And then once again, right around that area, it is getting rejected. So none of that means that it cannot be broken. My point here is that it's a more than valid thought to have that if the price can push up through that level, then that break right there very well could create additional buying pressure. So keep a close eye on that. In terms of areas of support, and I know I'm going through this quicker, but you've already heard me talk about this stuff on the past charts. But the ideal level, meaning that area that ideally, if the price can stay above it, would be great, is that pink line there, that 200-period moving average valued at 188. But then I would say the more important level would be that purple line there, that 50 period at 182.75. So again, preferably speaking, won't make the chart look the strongest. Definitely staying above 188, but by no means is that some sort of do or die level. But yes, as of now, the price is way closer to potentially breaking up through that level anyways. So we'll see what happens with it. Next one here, ONDS. And again, we have a scenario where tricky to talk about from a presentation standpoint. Day traders, flippers, scalpers, anybody that bought right there or maybe bought right there and was looking to buy and sell within 10 minutes. Yes, from those angles, things are looking very rough. But assuming you care about the bigger picture point of view, the price still put in a higher high and higher low. And now we have one of those patterns that I already talked about. So I'm going to go through this quicker because you've already heard me talk about it. And in this situation, I'm now going to use that purple line there as a lower trend line. So let's just keep it the same color to hopefully have it easier to see. So we have our area of resistance. We have our area of support. We have the nice upwards move right there. We have the golf hole down here, and we have ourselves another bull pennant pattern. So as I mentioned earlier, bull pennants don't guarantee any sort of upwards price movement, but certainly more than valid to think that if the price comes up here and breaks through there, that break right there could create some upside buying pressure. So definitely grab your popcorn for Tuesday. Next one, TSLL. Overall, good solid day. And the price is starting to make progress, but it does become a very valid question. Okay, from where it was here to where it is right now, yeah, it is moving upwards, but is this genuine, strong progress? Is this healthy? And the nice thing about charts is they allow you to take kind of questions and words and make them very visual. So in my opinion, at least, the very, very straightforward way to gauge that question is just to get this trend line in play. And then it becomes a very basic logic. As long as the price stays above that uptrending trend line, then that implies the price is at least putting in higher lows, which doesn't mean that it can't, nothing goes straight up. So it could do this, come down, all the way up here, come down, and so on and so forth. So it could get very, very dramatic. Price movements all over the place. But again, if it stays above that line, that would still imply that the price is putting in those higher bases, and that is what matters most. So as far as the health of the current upwards movement here on TSLL, I would say that the price movement is healthy as long as the price stays above the trend line right there. In terms of areas of resistance, main battleground over watch right now is all about that pink line there, 200 period moving average. You can see right there the price rejected it back down. So if the price does try to come back up to that area right now, key battleground here headed into Tuesday, right there around $20, and we'll just call it 80 cents. But again, from where it was on the lows on Friday to where it is right now, the price is continuing to show those signs of progress. So let's see if the price can stay above that trend line. So that wraps up the top 10 list. Again, if you like what you saw here, but you want to learn more about this other market and how it allows you to become a day trader and have unlimited day trades around the clock, essentially, then definitely check out the live stream and see it with your very own eyes, because I understand everything I've said. Small amounts of risk, but great upside potential can sound a little bit scummy, a little bit scammy. I get it, which is why just come check out the live stream and ask me any questions. I'd be happy to clarify things for you. Again, I start Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern for a few hours. So thanks for hanging out, and hopefully I'll see you on the live stream.